Peace. This is Jamal Robinson with 720astrology.com. Today's date is May 17th, 2024. At the time of recording this, it is 2:50 p.m. Central Standard Time. I want to talk about something that happened last week, and it is the inspiration for the title of this video, which is Taurus season, an unexpected ritual. And I'm trying to pull my rest of my resources out here. So I'm on the go doing this video, so bear with me. You're probably hearing engine noise and you might hear my air conditioning running, but I'm in Texas. I cannot sit in this truck with no AC on, even in spring. But either way, I want to fill you in on what happened last week. Let me find my notebook with my notes. But before I get into this, I want to say this about studying spirituality, metaphysics, living in a world of spirituality where it becomes applicable and not just things we study and pontificate about and theorize about. When I'm at home in my office, you see all those books behind me. Those books, I don't get those books to read them. I don't have them with the intention of reading all of them. I treat it like a library, meaning I have natural gifts, I have natural inclinations, I have intuitive downloads and so forth, like the average person. But you have a library so that when you have these quandaries or these puzzles that pop up, or you're led to explore something, you have some type of references to call on to help refine and understand the energy that you already possess. That's why we have a library. Now, in addition to the library, you must have applicable knowledge. Meaning, you can read all the books in the world. You can watch all the YouTube videos, TikTok videos, whatever. But you have to experience the energy to actually be able to own it and to understand it. There's this old quote by Idris Shah. It says, "Wisdom is when you finally understand what you previously only knew." And wisdom comes through life application. So you need both sides. You need to have knowledge because a lot of people have gifts, but they don't have the knowledge to understand how to maximize those gifts. And then a lot of people study and gain and gather knowledge, but they never see how to really apply it in the most simplest aspects of their lives. I'm using this as the opening volley into this conversation because I want to show you why I title this an unexpected ritual. So here we go. My youngest child is in kindergarten. And so she and her brother, he's in second grade, they go to a fine arts school. So they have these different productions throughout the year. So the final production for kindergartners was held on May 9th. And so we get notified from her teacher that she's recommending her to be in the production. Okay, cool. So then they send the script home and we see that she has one line. and her line is going to be, and it's supposed to progressively increase in volume. She's going to say, moo, moo, moo. And we're like, they're giving this baby one line. Now, everybody think the sun set and rise on their children. But look, I'm honest. I'm being honest when I say this. My daughter she's gorgeous. All right. And she's equally as intelligent. I mean, she's gifted and talented. All my children gifted and talented. So, I ain't fathered no dummies. All 4 of them. So I want to make sure I add that. Okay, and she memorized everybody's lines in the whole play. And so we're like, man, what an insult. You got this child, so what is that? Ego. Hell yeah, I'll admit it. Ego. Child talented. She a Robinson, You got her in this production and she just got one line. But this how the spirit worked this all out. About a day or two later, my wife come back and tell me, she says, cause I'm still complaining. I'm still hot as fish grease. And my wife comes back and tells me, well, she's the star of the show. I said, what? She said, well, the whole production is about her character. She's the star of the show. And so my wife has to order the costume off of Amazon, and it's a cow. My mind I'm so busy with life. My mind is not putting 2 and 2 together. The moo and the fact that it's a cow, and the fact that this production, is happening during Taurus season. And what's the symbol for Taurus? It's the circle with the horns. It's bovine. Taurus is the bull. And the bull is a member of the bovine family. But I ain't putting none of this together. None of this. Too caught up in life. Okay? So we get to the production, to the play. And the play starts. And I mean, she's sitting there. She doesn't have a line. All the children are doing her stuff, but she's sitting over to the side, and they kind of keep having the spotlight on her, and she's having to make all these gestures of she's sad and she's melancholy and down. So here's what the play was about. The play was about the fact that the cow had lost her voice. And not literally, but symbolically, metaphorically had lost her voice, as in she would not speak. And so what the whole play was, it all boiled down. The chickens, the goats, the sheep, all these animals, the ducks, I think they had ducks, all the animals were basically coming and venerating the cow. They were telling the cow how great she was. Oh boy, I'm starting to watch this and I'm starting to get chills, like, whoa. And now my mind is like, oh, you dummy. This is a Taurus ritual, an unexpected ritual, right before your eyes. And so they're going on, and they're venerating her, and they're acknowledging her greatness. And so these 3 themes popped out to me. 1, Taurus rules the neck and the throat. So we're talking about the throat chakra. It was closed because the cow would not speak. All right. So this was the dilemma. The throat chakra was blocked. The power was not realized through speaking the word. There was a loss of realization of what was possessed, Because Taurus is not just possessions. That's the superficial. Ultimately, Taurus is about self-worth. When a Taurian is at his or her highest expression, it is based on an understanding of innate worthiness. Why the key words are I have. I have is the key word for, that's what the word manifestation means. Man means hands, and festivity, holy, to make your hands holy. To manifest, one of the keys of manifestation is beyond the magical Hollywood, Disney type of thing. It's really an understanding first of what I have. It's the, and I'm not a tarot expert, but the magician has all these tools laid out. Now, he doesn't know exactly maybe how to work with them yet, but it's like, man, look what I got. That's the first step of manifestation. Acknowledgement of what I have. That's Taurus. Second dilemma, or the second theme that popped out, is that all these animals were circling around the energy of the cow. And you know the word zodiac means animals. It's the circle of animals. And in ancient Kemet, called Egypt, there's a well-known temple, the Temple of Dendera. And in that temple, there's a stele that has the Goddess Hathor, who is said to be the same. It's not said, she is. She's the same great goddess, great mother energy as Asar, or Aset, who also known as Isis. So these animals circling are reenacting the story that is in stone in the Temple of Dendera. Man, I'm getting chills. My hair is standing up on my neck now. I'm watching this. I'm telling my wife, I said, oh my God, this is a ritual. This is turned into something more than just a play. This is bigger. Okay. Another thought back to the self-worth and the fact that the cow, which is representing the bovine, which is Taurus, there's a lapse in self-worth, and the animals are helping her regain the sense of self-worth based on their archetypal expression and the angles that they are at. See, what are we looking at in a chart? One of the main things we look at are the angles or aspects. And one of the things that even hard aspects are doing for us, they're helping us understand our value, personal value. Not just what we value, but our internal sense of value. Strife, hard times, roadblocks, difficulties are building blocks for self-worth, because some people were born with life where it was they just skating along, everything handed to them. And what's amazing, you look at some of these people and you're like, God, they feel so terrible about themselves. Born with a silver spoon in their mouth, all the money in the world, everything set up in their favor, institutionally, environmentally, politically, everything set up, but you hate yourself because it was too easy. And it robbed you of the ability to discover your self-worth, a sense of value. People come and they worry about seeing hard aspects. Learn to celebrate the hard aspects in your chart, because that's what makes you. That's what makes you. And so when this play occurs, we got to remember that Venus was separating from a square with Pluto. I talked about it in a video. I still got this Bluetooth in my ear. That's why I can't hear myself. At the time of the play, Venus is at 12 degrees of Taurus. Pluto's at 2 of Aquarius. So this is Venus separating from that square that it had with Pluto earlier at the beginning of the month, beginning of May. So it all was like perfect timing. It lines up because Venus is compromised when it's squaring Pluto. We're having to really fight for what do we believe in? What do we value? You know, it's like, we're seeing the ugly side of things and things that are difficulties showing. Okay? Now, this thing about Hathor, and I forgot to bring, I was so moved by this that I went and I had to get me a Hathor statue to put in my home. And I want to say this, in my office is a living temple. It's a living ritual. In other words, our home is a living ritual. Okay, but what you do is you set the energy. Even if you're not doing things, the energy you create in your home creates the ongoing ritual. And ritual just means arrangement. So let's demystify this word. Ritual means arrangement. So you set up energies in your home to arrange the overall energetic grid and flow of your home. And when you get statues, you don't get statues to worship these statues. The statues by themselves don't mean a thing. You get the statue to serve as a reference point for energies that are flowing within you. The only world that exists is the one inside of you. And you put the statues as sentinels or as trigger points to activate aspects of your own subconscious mind. Okay? And so you place those, and so I had to lift her up energetically. And that goes back to my opening volley to this conversation. Why do you have the books? So you can read and study and understand. Books like this, Encyclopedia of Ancient Deities, a great cross-reference resource. So you can go and look up Hathor in here, and they will point you. It'll explain Hathor's energy, and it will explain other energies that would coincide with that of Hathor. And one of them is Astarte. Now this is big. And I'll come back to that. I got to stay on track. Let's go through proper chain of events or flow here to keep on task. So Hathor, which is the cow, which is part of the bovine family, which is associated with beauty and fertility. She's also the mortuary goddess. So we see now this brings not just Taurus but Scorpio. All right. She protected infants and consoled the dead. Protecting infants, that's Cancer. That's Cancer. And it's also, we can say Virgo, but that's especially Cancer. Okay. And the dead, Capricorn. The earth is dead in Capricorn. So there's this energy of Taurus, Scorpio axis, Cancer, Capricorn axis. Okay, we can also argue Virgo, Pisces. It is thought that Hathor was given a bovine form because the concept of the sky as a cow was widespread in the Delta. Okay, so they go on, give you a lot of information in here about Hathor. Here's another great reference. This is an old school one here. People who know, they know about this. Celestial Ship of the North, Evalencia Strait. Now this is serious scholarship right here that you want to have. And she's heavy. And she was an astrologer too. The thigh is portrayed in the Dendera planisphere as the leg of the hippopotamus. The hippopotamus was a primordial type of the mother as the great fish, its large mouth being a type of the Ru, which means mouth, opening, gate, and place of emergence. Water with fish combined became the solar birthplace found in the zodiacal sign Pisces. See, now here's her information, now brings in the Pisces Virgo axis. Found in the zodiacal sign Pisces, the fishes. Hathor, Semiramis, Atargatis, and other known fish goddesses were identified with the original waters of the birthplace from which they brought forth the divine fish child. Two fishes represent mother and child, hence the two fishes of this sign. Okay, but she gives a whole lot of other important information here. Listen to this. In Babylon, the moon was held in greater esteem than the sun because darkness came before light. The crescent symbol of the moon was sacred among all nations. The Phoenician Astarte, the Babylonian Ishtar, the Egyptian Isis and Hathor, the Greek Diana, and other lunar goddesses had the crescent as their emblem, and it finally became the emblem of the Christians, Mary. Because if you look at Hathor, she has the crescent moon, and between the crescent moon is the solar disk. So she is giving birth to the sun. She is the master mason. Ma and son. So, going back to the production. So it's obvious this is Hathor, ties into Venus. Venus is in Taurus at the time of this, still in Taurus. Venus coincides also with the bovine. The bovine coincides with the letter Aleph in the Hebrew alphabet, because in the Hebrew alphabet, in the Proto-Hebrew, we see one of the versions of Aleph as an A turned on its side with the line running through it, the crossbar, and it basically resembles a cattle head, a bovine head. And Aleph is the God force thrusting forward that comes out of chaos. Ayin Sof, the trinity of chaos that produces the God force in the physical world, which first moves through Aleph. All of this energy is combined through this goddess energy with Hathor. We know that Hathor is she's also associated with the Ankh or the Anuk, and the Anuk is the template or coincides with the womb. And the womb is what all of your temples are based on, including the church, the mosque, synagogue. Any temple is set up based on the Ankh. You have an entry, which is the birth canal, and you move back to the you move down to the cervix, and I can't remember, you gotta forgive me, you got the fallopian tubes on the side, and I can't remember in the back. I'm not a woman, so pardon me. But either way, the Ankh is the template of the female anatomy. So we're talking about a place of creation, which is why so much magic is that's why the sanctuary is utilized to conduct magic, and they put a phallus on top of it. The magic is generated in the womb inside in the sanctuary. Then they put a phallus on top of it, or some type of object that points or stands up, and that energy is given off and is fed on. That's another conversation. But Hathor is Astarte, is Inanna, is Ishtar, is Venus. And to bring it back home and connect this with the series that I'm doing, the astrology of quote unquote black people, all of these energies coincide with Columbia, because Columbia is a goddess who was created based on the personification of Venus, tying back to this line of goddesses back to Hathor / Isis. And that is the spiritual feminine energy that sits over these United States. And this is a major clue to who the so-called black people are and the origin of this landmass. And it gives credence to, we'll say, the theory that so-called black people tie back to the planet Venus. That's for another discussion. Either way, in conclusion, this was an unexpected, unintentional ritual. And all of the energy was in place. The goddess was in her domicile. She had moved out of distress. She was not being persecuted by Pluto.